The 2014 Giro d'Italia was the 97th running of the Giro d'Italia, one of cycling's Grand Tour races. The Giro started off in Belfast, on May 9, with a 21.7 km team time trial and concluded in Trieste, on June 1, with a 172 km flat stage. A total of 198 riders from 22 teams entered the 21-stage race, which was won by Colombian Nairo Quintana of the Movistar Team. The second and third places were taken by Colombian Rigoberto Urán and Italian Fabio Urán, respectively. Quintana became the first Colombian to win the Giro. He also won the secondary young rider classification. In the other classifications, FDJFR rider Nacer Bouhanni was the winner of the points classification and Trek Factory Racing's Giulia N. Arredondo won the mountains classification. Ag2 La Mondiale finished as the winners of the team classification, while Amiga Pharma Quick Step won the team points classification. Teams and riders. All 18 UCI Pro teams were automatically invited and were obliged to attend the race. As the winners of the 2013 Coppa Italia rankings for Italian teams, Androni Giocattoli Venezuela were invited to the race in October 2013. In January 2014, the three remaining wildcard places were decided by a vote on social media, from a short list of 8 UCI professional continental teams. The places were later awarded to the Bardiani CSF, Columbia and Neri Sottili squads. The 22 teams that competed in the race were marked UCI professional continental teams given wild card entry to this event. Pre-race favorites before the start of a race, Nairo Quintana, Joaquim Rodriguez, Cadel Evans, Rigoberto Urán were among the main favorites for overall victory. Other possible contenders were Domenico Pozzovivo, Michele Scarpini, Dan Martin, Ivan Basso, Rafa Majka and Przemysław Niemiec. Stages. The 2014 Giro has its stages categorized into 5 different categories, named A to E. The category of a stage determines the points given for the points classification, and for the maximum time allowed for cyclists to finish the stage. Category A is reserved for the flattest stages, while Category D is for the stages with the highest mountains. Category E is for time trial stages. It started in Belfast on May 9, 2014 and travelled across both Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. There were 3 rest days instead of the usual 2 and the race started on a Friday. Classification leadership. In the 2014 Giro d'Italia, 4 different jerseys were awarded. For the general classification, calculated by adding each cyclist's finishing times on each stage, and allowing time bonuses for the first 3 finishes on mass start stages, the leader received a pink jersey. This classification is considered the most important of the Giro d'Italia, and the winner is considered the winner of the Giro. Additionally, there was a points classification, awarding a red jersey. In the points classification, cyclists received points for finishing in the top 15 in a stage. Unlike in the better-known points classification in the Tour de France, the type of stage has no effect on what points were on offer. Each stage had the same points available on the same scale. The winner earned 25 points, second place earned 20 points, third 16, fourth 14, fifth 12, sixth 10, and 1 point fewer per place down to a single point for 15th. In addition, points could be won in intermediate sprints. There was also a mountains classification, the leadership of which was marked by a blue jersey. In the mountains classifications, points were won by reaching the top of the climb before other cyclists. Each climb was categorized as either first, second, third, or fourth category, with more points available for the higher categorized climbs. The Cima copy, the race's highest point of elevation, was worth still more points than the other first category climbs. The fourth jersey represents the young rider classification, marked by a white jersey. This was decided the same way as the general classification, but only riders born after January 1, 1989 were eligible. There were also 2 classifications for teams. In the Trofeo Fast Team classification, the times of the best 3 cyclists per team on each stage were added. The leading team was the team with the lowest total time. The Trofeo Super Team was a team points classification, with the top 20 placed riders on each stage earning points for their team. The rows in the following table correspond to the jerseys awarded after that stage was run. Notes: in stages 3, 4, and 5, Luke Debridge, who was second in the Young Riders classification, wore the white jersey, because Michael Matthews wore the pink jersey as leader of the general classification during that stage. In stage 4, no rider wore the red jersey after Marcel Kittel, who was first in the points classification, withdrew from the race. In stages 6, 7, and 8, Rafa Major, who was second in the Young Riders classification, wore the white jersey, because Michael Matthews wore the pink jersey as leader of the general classification during that stage. In stages 7 and 8, Martin Tjolina, who was second in the Mountains classification, wore the blue jersey, because Michael Matthews wore the pink jersey as leader of the general classification during that stage. In stage 17 and 18, Rafa Major, who was second in the Young Riders classification, wore the white jersey, because Nairo Quintana wore the pink jersey as leader of the general classification during that stage. In stages 19, 20, and 21, Fabio Urán, who was second in the Young Riders classification, wore the white jersey, because Nairo Quintana wore the pink jersey as leader of the general classification during that stage. Final standings.